When you stop controlling the outcome, this is what happens. And this is what I'm going to be sharing with you in this video. I'm going to be talking to you about some incredibly powerful examples of what happened to me when it came to a specific person, love, business, money, my body, that proves that when you let go, you receive what you want, and in a lot of cases, even better than you can even begin to imagine. So, before I get into that today, guys, hello, I'm Natalie. I hope you're all doing well. If you are new here, it's super lovely to have you here. And if you are coming back, welcome. It's always a pleasure. I'm coming to you from Ibiza, and I'm currently in Cala Verdea, being attacked by flies. Gosh. Anyway. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, then please do click that subscribe button and know that your support on my channel means the absolute world to me. And also your heartfelt comments. Honestly, every time I read them, and just makes my heart melt. So please do keep them coming. I absolutely love hearing what you have to say. And also, if you'd like to find out about, me, my journey, or my deep healing transformational courses, then you need to just check the link below this video or in my bio. And as always, if you have any questions, then all you need to do is just DM me on Instagram about the coaching solution that you're interested in investing in, and we can go from there. Or you can email me if you don't use Instagram at natalie@asthepenniesdrop.com. Okay, so before I get covered in millions of flies, let's get to this video. When you are in a need of having to have it energy, like a desperate energy, a need of having to control whatever it is that you are wanting to manifest into your life, what you're actually doing is you're actually blocking it. You're blocking it from coming to you. And it took me years. It took me years to work that one out. I want what I want. So therefore, I must action and force the outcome to get what I want, to get the experience. But all I was actually doing was receiving the opposite outcome. Excuse me. And what it was that I wanted. So I'd look around and now I'd see others living an abundant lifestyle, being extremely successful in their careers, in wonderful relationships, with, having abundance of money, living these lavish lifestyles, having lovely friends. And I would think, WTF? And how are they doing this? How are they doing this? And I would think this was my lot. But what they were actually doing was the opposite of what I was doing, you see. They were doing the opposite. They were actually flowing with the energy of the universe. They were flowing with the energy of the universe, flowing in an abundant mindset. They didn't force, chase, or beg. Yes, they wanted things, but what it felt like to me then, it felt like they were just absolutely like magic. They were magnetizing things to them just effortlessly, and now this didn't mean that they were perfect people, not at all. It just meant that they had a view of of I want what I want, but I'm okay without it. And I'm just going to keep living this life that I have created. Or they would speak in a way that was overflowing with abundant energy. Either way, it felt like they had everything from how I used to see things, absolutely everything from how I used to see things. Literally, it just felt like things were just falling effortlessly into their lap. One of the biggest lessons that I learned all these years ago was that our imagination, the 5D, is our real world. And our physical reality, the 3D, is a reflection. So is a reflection of what we dominantly believe to be true, what we dominantly assume to be true. So think about it. Before I share some of these examples, if you feel you have to fight for something, then you are then fighting for something. If you feel that it must come to you this way, then what you're actually saying is it must come to you this way. Either sentence is screaming and saying that you are gripping hold of and therefore wanting to control the outcome. But also, as you are a reflection of yourself pushed out, Think about these sentences that must then be mirrored back to you. If you are having to fight for something, the universe agrees. Therefore, you have to continue fighting for something. And you're not then actually achieving the goal, receiving the desire, getting that manifestation. The outcome, if you feel you have the outcome a particular way, if you feel you need to have the outcome a particular way, then the universe says, okay, then. But either sentence says you do not have the desire, which is the opposite of manifesting. And this is where the blocks are, you see. You are blocking your desires by the energy you are projecting from you, how you speak. When I was desperate, like so hurt and so desperate to have an ex back a very, very long time ago, I thought that messaging him, once a week, once every couple of weeks would work. He'd then remember how amazing I was. Then he would miss me. Then he would come back. Then he would realize that I was the best thing ever. Also, the time that we had apart, just to give you some background on this relationship from each other, was about 6 and a bit months. But get this, after 2 and a bit months, I met someone else. And therefore, I took my energy off this specific person. I stopped trying to control the situation. I stopped needing him to need me back with him. I met someone else. And I was going to see how that would work. And within 3 weeks, you guys, 3 weeks of me dating this other person, breaking that need of control, guess who started messaging me? And then, because I had met someone else, guess who was then pursuing me for months? And it wasn't until that other relationship actually ended, um, that, I decided to give that specific person another go, to give that relationship a go. And this is all I did. This is all I did. And I've done things like that repeatedly and got the same outcome. Now, I had already done the manifesting, you see. I'd already put out to the universe what it was that I wanted. The universe said, okay, Natalie, we know you want to be with him, but you now have to let go of the control of needing him. From the pursuer to being pursued. So let's look at love. Let's look at love. When I wanted to manifest loving, genuine, consistently, you guys, respectful friends, which I'd never had in my entire life. And I found this really, really hard until again, I let go of the control. Now, let me explain. In the past, I had friends who were not consistent in how they showed up for me. Whilst this was a story of my lifetime based on the inconsistencies that I had experienced as a child with family members, I just thought that this was normal. I thought that this was how I was always going to be treated because this is how I was always treated. But you see, I held on to these, I want to say it, and I'm going to say it, fuckwits of people. I said it out of pure desperation and patterning. People treated me like I was an option, squeezing me into their schedules, putting me down, speaking to me in ways that were so derogatory, it was off the scale, being so unkind, treating me like an option. And as I share, recently, I've had people shouting at me in restaurants because I'm successful in my business, shouting at me in restaurants because I've chosen not to have kids. I mean, my God, and when I say shouting, I mean shouting. But one by one, each one of these people from my past left my reality. But I still had a few. I was still holding on to a few, treating me inconsistently, badly, in how that they would speak to me. And it was horrible. It was horrible. And I was full of anxieties, never knowing when I saw them what I was going to get. But they were all I had left. Desperate energy. They were all I had left. I had to make this work. That was a belief. So can you feel the control here in my energy? So guess what happened next? When my mum died, love you, mum, when my mum died, it triggered me massively. Just, in fact, just before she died, and actually told her about these people that I couldn't cope with in my life anymore. And she was so lovely listening to me and talking to me about it. And then when she died, I realized, I looked at my life and I was just like, just no, I realized I'd rather be on my own for the rest of my life than put up with that. So I blocked them. I blocked them. But what I was actually doing, I was unblocking myself, you see, to receive. And now, because I let go of the need of these inconsistent, unkind people, I could see what I did actually have all this time. Four lovely friends who are there for me, who support me, who celebrate me consistently in their kindness, who are so bloody respectful. And I know I have people now who will always show up being so lovely to me because I stopped controlling the situation and I let go to allow better in. And can I tell you, whilst they come from places all over the world, I just feel so loved, so supported, knowing that no matter what, if anything happened, they will be there for me in a shot. Now let's look at my body. If you don't know, I have had some very negative body issues and eating issues for most of my life due to a caretaker speaking to me so incredibly badly about my weight. And that created a belief that I wasn't enough, that I had to be perfect. I couldn't believe, actually, even looking back, how someone programmed to love you could actually speak to you that way, could speak to me that way. But the sets of negative beliefs ensued, and I was constantly scrutinizing my body, myself, the way I looked, actually everything, I stopped weighing myself though, which was a godsend. I exercised way too much and I wouldn't eat well. And if on some days I felt so ashamed of my body, I wouldn't go out. I would ruin really special plans, evenings out, or I'd miss out on special events. And it wasn't great at all. It was absolutely all consuming me that my body had to be perfect for me to feel enough, to be loved. Obviously now I can see that if then I had that, I would then be loved, obviously, like I've just said. So when I let go of this gradually after attending a yoga retreat, it took some time. I started to eat better, healthier, more consistent. I started to work out less and I used to teach classes. I actually started to really enjoy cooking lovely meals. I no longer saw the girl in the mirror so desperate to be loved, so desperate to be perfect, to look perfect, to receive love, to say to people in the world, now am I enough because my body is perfect. Over the years, this is how I looked. I have an effortlessly toned body. I run a little now. This is how it's all transformed. I do a little yoga. I walk a little every day. I eat beautiful, healthy foods. And actually, what I want really, I can eat what I want because I do it all in moderation. I don't decide, deny myself now. And again, I let go. I let go. That was in. I let go of the need to having to be perfect. I realized that I was lovable in the way that I looked, just as I was, and how I had been asking for my body to be. Guess what? When I let it all go and I loved myself and I just went with the flow, it became effortless too. I had finally accepted my body for how it was, and I grew in confidence for how I looked, and I had the freedom to live now, no more hiding away. And my body, the one I always wanted, aligned to me. The power of releasing the control of having to being and accepting is just incredibly wonderful and so freeing. And so finally, for those of you building a business, I know some of these stories aren't going to resonate to everyone, but they will. Some of them are going to resonate to you all. As you know, nothing happened within my business that I could see in my outer world, in the outer reality for 11 months. Why? Why did it take so long? Because I was desperate for it. I was clinging onto fear of not having and the forcing of outcomes because I was scared I was going to lose everything. No other bank account to dip into, nothing, and the money was going down. And again, this was screaming with a vibration of I don't have. So when I let go and I just gently focus on a lovely business mantra that I kept looping, those old thoughts were at bay and I kept building my content. And with this mantra and keeping my mind under control, within weeks, it all came together. In fact, even better. Because I let go of the outcome of how I thought my business should be, which was to have people come to my home in the UK for sessions, like literally in my hometown. That's how I thought my business was going to unfold. But I let go of the how through this mantra, um, you know, and that because that was giving me tunnel vision, that was going to limit me. But when I let that go and I just focus on the business that I wanted with lovely mantras, the outcomes that I really wanted with a lovely business mantra, not only did I create a six-figure business too, living a free life, traveling the world with it, I had created a global business with global clients coming to me digitally. So, no matter what your situation, I really hope that my share has helped you realize that when you release the need, the control, and all you do is you allow in what it is that you want. What you want will come even better, like in some of my examples. So if you are seeing any patterns in your life now that are creating chaos and inconsistencies or confusion for you, or you are feeling anxious in the thought of letting go of the control, seeing yourself holding on to those that truly do not belong in your life anymore, but patterns that you can see stemmed from your childhood, then I invite you to take a look at my deep inner healing, transformative coaching solutions. The links are below this video or in my bio. And as I said earlier, you can DM me on Insta or you can email me at natalie@asthepenniesdrop.com. And in the subject field, just put the name of the coaching solution that you're interested in and the questions that you have about it, and let's go from there. So we can get you the right one, the one that is most suited for you. Or you can gain instant access and just go for it, trusting your intuition. But no matter what you choose to do, life, it isn't supposed to be hard, chaotic, or confusing, or inconsistent, unpredictable. It isn't. You just think it is because that's all you know, just like me. It is supposed to be enjoyable, peaceful, calm, consistent, fun, loving. You're supposed to have clarity. You're supposed to feel happy, which can sound boring if you are only used to the opposite. But let me tell you now, with all of my healing, releasing the need to control outcomes, the need to hold on to things that don't and never did serve me, I am I am so at peace. I am so calm. I receive peace in all areas of my life. My life, I'm showered consistently in love and in kindness and generosity and support, in peace, in calm, in clarity, in consistencies, receiving consistencies. I feel I have upgraded in all areas of my life, and I have in where I'm staying in Ibiza and so much more. I speak, think, and show up and stand up for myself with pride where I'm directed to live. Like I just said, the locations, the people, the experiences. It is just absolutely wonderful. And I never had this before I was healing. And as you can tell from my examples, what I used to put up with. And the opposite was that. But I wouldn't trade the reality, this one now, ever, for the world. It is just too incredibly amazing. And I just want this reality to now grow and flow and grow and flow in the direction it's supposed to. So if any of this resonates, drop a comment below. I would love to hear your experiences with letting go. So that is it for me today, guys, and all these flies that seem to want to stick to my body. I tell you, I could have sworn a hell of a lot. Get off me, fly. Coming to you from Calabadea. Stunning. I was actually in this cala yesterday on a boat going to Esvedra. Esvedra is just over there. It's just stunning, a beautiful feminine energy rock. And there's a little Esvedri, Esvedri and Esvedra. So there you go. Anyway, that is it for me today, you guys. Please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, from Ibiza, I will be back with love very soon.